Hello amigos, ¿cómo están? My name is Dan and welcome back to the channel. Today is going to be the last Chivas video of 2024 for me, and I really hope that you guys had a really good Christmas and I'm going to have a really good New Year's. I know I'm going to have a quiet one I've got New Year's Eve off, but I've got to work from New Year's Day onwards, so I won't be doing anything really. But I hope you guys have a really good New Year's, and yeah, we're going to be talking all about Chivas today. There's a whole bunch of stuff actually to talk about, so we're just going to go straight into it. So before we get into actual player transfer deals and things like that, we're going to be talking about the preseason tournament that we had, the Copa Pacifica, involving a whole bunch of clubs from Guadalajara, including Tapatio and Chivas. And yeah, obviously it didn't go according to plan. Tapatio losing both their games, and the second game being against Atlas, which is never good, but it's a pre-season tournament. And Tapatio are testing out a whole bunch of, I think, a whole bunch of under 18 players in their team. So even though Wilker and Garcia started the second game against Atlas, which I was a little bit disappointed about, I kind of wanted them to play for Chivas in their game. But it wasn't meant to be. And Chivas obviously went and lost their game as well, lost the final 2-1, which is disappointing. Wally, for me, had a terrible game, and we'll be going into that in a minute. But basically, we lost the tournament. We should have won it, obviously. We're obviously the biggest and best team in it, but we didn't win it. And the reaction was kind of a mix. I saw a lot of people kind of lose their heads a little bit about it. More Chivas, embarrassment, blah, blah, blah. Well, it's a pre-season tournament, and, it comes with a massive grain of salt. Obviously, we could have won this tournament, we could have won both games 7-0 and still go on to lose the first game of the season, so it can go either way. For me, this is all about Garcia, the fact that he gets to see every single player in his team, even a whole bunch of the Tapatio players as well. And so he got a good chance to see a whole bunch of the squads, and hopefully he's learned a lot from it, and learned who he wants and who he doesn't want. And so that's, I mean, if we'd had this Garcia for like a year or two, then maybe this tournament loss would be a little bit more of a sting for me. But yeah, Garcia, it's all about Garcia, getting to know the players, getting to know the club as well, Tapatio as well as Chivas, because I think he's going to be paying attention to Tapatio. He should be anyway. For me, it's a gold mine, Tapatio. But yeah, it was all about him getting used to the players getting back to match fitness. The league kicks off, I think, the 12th or the 11th of January, depending on where you are in the world. I think it's the 12th for me. I have to double check that, to be fair. I haven't checked these since a couple of days, but basically mid-January, the season kicks off again, and we're going to go straight back into it. And Garcia's going to be dropped in a bit of a deep end, really. He's only had I would say by the time the season starts, he's had, a month and a bit, maybe, to get used to everything that's going on in Chivas right now. So yeah, it was all about him getting used to the players, and the players auditioning for him. There's some players that haven't left yet that probably should be leaving, and had to fight for their place, and I don't think they worked. Apart from Marin, scored in the final. I think he's kind of earned. I reckon he'll stay. To be honest with you, I don't see him leaving. I want him to leave, to be honest with you, because I think Teon, Wilker, and Hormiga should be our starting strikers, and Chicharito kind of floating around for the next tournament or so. Chicharito could even leave. But yeah, so I'm not really too fussed about the loss tournament wise. It is what it is. I mean, obviously it would be nice to win it, but yeah, it's all about Garcia getting used to the players. So, talking about the players, there have been some departures. Pavel Perez is now a Necaxa player who was announced yesterday as of recording. And yeah, this is a move that we all kind of wanted to happen. He was Cantarano, but never really quite cut it at Chivas. There was a tweet yesterday, or overnight, should I say, that even Gael Sandoval did better, scored more goals for Chivas. So, yeah, he didn't really hit the ground running. He's a good player, he's a decent player, but just not good enough for us. And it's not good enough for us to win the league, and that's what we've got to be striving for now. So, yeah, he gets his move to the Necaxa, so he'll blatantly be a starting player for them. So hopefully he does well. You know, there's a whole record right now of Chivas players doing better when they leave Chivas, so he probably will do pretty decently in the Necaxa. I hope. Yeah, I wish him all the best. You know, I think it's a good move for all concerned. Um, Massive news. Carlos Cisneros is imminently about to leave, go to Club Leon, which is a good move for him. Again, another player that pretty much every Chivas fan, wants to move on now. I think he's had more than enough chance at the club and just hasn't quite worked out. So I think he needs to move. I think Leon's a decent club, and I think he'll do well there as well. So that's not quite official yet, but apparently it's like imminently official. So good luck to him with that. And then obviously Brizuela, apparently there's massive interest in him with Juarez. I think that'll be a decent move for him. Whether that's going to be a loan or a permanent move, I've got a funny feeling they're going to loan him in and then pay his contract, and then obviously he'll leave at the end of the year, I think. Or end of the season, should I say. I'm not quite sure where his contract runs out, but I think it's soon. So, yeah, Brizuela, Pavel, Perez, and Cisneros, 3 players that you kind of want to leave the club and move on. For me, there's still more players. I would still like to see Marin leave, like I mentioned earlier. I think he'll stay, though. I've got a funny feeling Garcia likes him. I think he'll stay. But I would be quite happy to see him leave. I don't want Marin taking up space for Wilker, in my opinion. I don't want to see Wilker go out on loan, should I say, for example, and then keep Marin. I'd rather sell Marin, or even loan Marin out, and then keep Wilker in the team and have him and Hormiga start. Again, they're inexperienced, and Wilker especially has to prove himself. But I think Hormiga's going to be our starting striker, starting number 9. And Chicharito is going to be hanging around. I don't see him leaving. People saying that he could leave, he could retire. I don't think so. I think he'll stay at least for the next tournament. So yeah, I think those 3 would be enough. I think Marin could leave. And I would like to see Oscar Wally leave. I'm very disappointed. The only thing that pissed me off really about this last game in particular was the fact that Garcia didn't play in goal, and Dragon Garcia, should I say, and also Wilker. Both of them started for Tapatio. I think they should have started for Chivas, to be honest with you, especially Dragon. Obviously, Talavera is our undoubted goalkeeper. He's our first team goalkeeper, but there's kind of an iffy situation right now. Wally just, for me, hasn't cut it and hasn't done enough, and he has been given chances here and there, and he hasn't really taken them. Especially in this game, in this tournament, a huge mistake that led to the goal. Led to the loss. Really disappointed. I think Wally's another one, that probably the last one now, that we need to be moving out the door, and then bring Dragon in and have him rotate with Talavera. We just got to take the leap now. It's so easy for a new coach to be like, you know what, Wally's older, Marin's older, we'll keep him in for their experience, blah blah blah. But and it is a risk. Dragon has very, very little first team experience. He's got basically no experience with Chivas or Liga MX. So it is a risk, and it's a risk playing Wilker as well. If anything happens to Hormiga and we get rid of Marin, it's just Wilker. And Chicharito is severely injury prone by now. So it is a risk. I do understand that, but I feel like it's a risk that we need to take. Marin, for me, scores every once in a while. He's just not the goal-scoring threat that we need up front. And when Hormiga's out of the team, he pops up with annoying goals, though, to be honest with you, Marin. He scores somewhat regularly, and some goals are quite important. So he's not horrifically terrible. He's just enough to get us by, but he's just not enough. He's not going to score 10 goals a season. He's not going to score more than that. So why not take a punt on Wilker? So that's what I was really annoyed about in the preseason, is that Dragon and Wilker got a little bit of chance in the first game, but yeah, they should not have been playing Tapatio in the second game. They should have been playing with Chivas, in the squad at least. Maybe not starting, but it is what it is. Hopefully, Garcia's seen enough to know that they're decent players, and they'll be involved in the season. We'll have to wait and see. Wally just doesn't cut it for me. I think he should be the next player out. And then it brings me on to Chiquete. So, went quiet for a long time ever since my last video. For probably about a week, it's gone quiet. And it popped up a journalist, I forgot his name, Murdo, I think it was, but I don't really know, to be honest with you. There's a journalist that came out saying that Cruz Azul have come back in imminently with a new payment plan that's better, apparently, and Chivas are kind of like not responding to it. I think that Chivas are going to turn it down. Again, embarrassing for Cruz Azul. I mean, at least all their Cruz Azul fans know that they don't have $11 million now. Just embarrassing. Embarrassing for Chiquete. He's thrown away his Chivas legacy for a lie, basically. He probably thought Cruz Azul can pay my release clause. Well, they can't, apparently. At least not fully. So, and Chivas are well within their rights to demand it all up front. If you're going to take our best centre back, give us all the money in one go. We're not going to make it easy for you to take our best centre back. So, yeah, hopefully Chivas stand strong. Even if Chiquete then plays the next tournament in Tapatio, it would be hilarious if another club, like apparently Monterrey were interested in him. It would be so funny if another club comes in and pays the 11 million and he goes off to them. It would just be hilarious if somehow or way he does not end up at Cruz Azul in January, because that would just be funny as. They're just embarrassing. Don't trigger a release clause if you can't afford to pay the entire release clause. It's just so dumb, so stupid. It's just hilarious. And Chapis, the journalist coming out saying, oh, it's done deal, it's almost done now. It's like, her credibility has taken a complete nosedive over the last month or so. This whole saga has really, really exposed some people. Journalists, Cruz Azul, Chiquete as well, as embarrassments. Just take the L at this point. And some people trying to clown Chivas, oh, you're desperate for the money, or well, if we were desperate for the money, we would have taken whatever payment plan Cruz Azul offered us. It's not about getting, well, obviously $11 million in one go is a pretty decent deal for a centre back, but it's not about the money really. It's the principle. If that's how much he's worth, that's what his contract is. If you can't afford it, don't announce that you're gonna trigger his release clause. It's so funny that they thought that all they need to do is get Chiquete to kick up a stink, and that somehow Chivas will fold. Well, no. He's on a decent contract. We will be paying his wages, obviously, if he stays. But it's a risk we're willing to take. And you never know, if he changes his tune and begs, gets on his hands and knees and begs, maybe he gets back into the first team at some point in the next tournament. But Chivas are in complete control of this situation. I just want to say, I'm very, very happy and proud of Amaury's behaviour in this whole thing. He could have caved. Sometimes when a player does kick off, and especially if it's an important player who's on decent wages, if they kick off, it's easier and probably better to get them out of the club, get rid of the toxicity. I don't think that's the case in this case. I think, he's well within his right, and he's done the perfect, brilliant thing in saying, no, if you want him, pay the money. He's worth $11 million, in a release clause. Pay it, and pay it all. If you can't pay it, don't announce to the world that you're going to sign him. Don't get him to kick off, because it won't affect, our decision. So I'm very happy with it. And, Amaury gets a lot of criticism, gets a lot of stick. I think this is the one time where we can praise him and say he's done a decent job. Why should we make it easy for Cruz Azul to take our player? Pay the money. If they come out and paid the whole money when they said they were going to pay it, then he'd be a two Cruz Azul player right now, and it wouldn't be our problem anymore. Having said that, this whole thing's going to be stinky as going into the season, especially if he's in and around the dressing room and he's playing for Chivas and not Tapatio. If this hasn't been resolved and it's still going on, I want him in Tapatio, because I don't want him affecting the locker room. Having said that, we do need to sign some players. We haven't really signed anyone yet, apart from Tapias, but who I think is a Briseño replacement and not a Chiquete replacement. So, it feels like we're doing our sales first. getting some decent money in, and hopefully we can go out and spend big on a decent centre back, at least if Chiquete leaves, and well, maybe another midfielder. Pocho's out now, and so um, yeah, we are light in a couple of areas, and we need to sign some players, even if we bring some players in for Tapatia. So yeah, a lot going on right now, to be honest with you, and it's not gonna get any easier either. The league starts in a couple of weeks or less than 2 weeks, so um, yeah, it'll be interesting to see what this Chiquete situation, turns into. At the end of the day, I'm wholeheartedly behind the club. Like I said, and the Maori, keep him in. Sometimes, like I said, it is better to get rid of the toxic, element. But in this case, I think hold on to him. He's worth so much money. If they can't pay him, maybe another club comes in and signs him instead. So, yeah, that's pretty much it right now, guys. Let me know what you think about any of the stuff I've been talking about. The games, Oscar Garcia and the Tapatia players, Dragon and Wilker. Obviously, Brigido as well. I haven't mentioned him, to be honest with you. He's gone out on loan to Pachuca with an option to buy. Does sound like we're probably going to sell him, which sucks. I was really looking forward to Brigido basically joining the first team. Hopefully, Yao Padilla. This means Padilla is going to get much more of a prominent role in this tournament, because obviously Venezuela looks like he's up as well. So we are kind of looking a little bit thin out wide. K-Cow seems to be doing alright. Pierre as well. So obviously our starting wingers, but having Padilla play a lot more for us is going to be epic for him and for us. I think he's going to be a really good player. So yeah, but Brigido, I'm really disappointed with. I really hope that he'd be in the first team. If he does really well at Pachuca, I assume you can refuse an option to buy. It's not like an obligation to buy. I think it's an option to buy. So it doesn't sound like it's going to be a permanent move. His goodbye kind of made it sound like he thought he was going to come back, which kind of worrying for me. But you never really know what's going to happen, especially in Liga MX. So, yeah, hopefully he has a decent loan spell. Pachuca gets decent minutes, so he should do. They do like playing their young players. And, yeah, if he does really, really well, maybe we bring him back in the summer. But we'll have to wait and see. But, yeah, let me know in the comments what you think about everything I spoke about. What do you think is going to happen in terms of signings? Is there any players that you think that we could sign that are realistic? I'm not quite sure, to be honest with you, in terms of what we're going to go for. But, yeah, let me know in the comments. And also, I just want to thank you guys for an epic 2024. This channel's grown so much in this past year, and it's all down to you guys. I really do appreciate it. All your views and comments and subscribings as well is really epic. I really do appreciate it all. I really do hope that you have an epic 2025. I hope Chivas has a really good 2025. We are due a trophy now. I'm so sick of watching other teams win stuff. We need to win it, and I think from what I've seen of Garcia right now, I think he might be the coach to do it. So touch wood, hopefully that happens. But yeah, anyway guys, thanks very much for watching. I probably won't do another video now until there's more signings, more stuff to talk about. I kind of like to leave it until there's 3 or 4 things to talk about in the off season. That way my videos are not like 3 minutes of me just talking about one transfer. So yeah, let me know in the comments about everything you want to talk about, and we'll talk about in there. So yeah, thanks guys, thanks very much for watching. I really do appreciate it, and yeah, I'll see you guys next year. Adios.